I want to say something universally accepted by everyone who plays the wargame Warhammer 40,000. The Adeptus Mechanicus sucks so hard. And we're going to talk about their index today and how much it sucks. How bad does it suck? Well, let's look at their index rules in order to get information about that. Now, their codex is releasing very soon. Hell, I'm writing this script on Friday. It might be out by the time the video comes out. I don't know. But let's get into their shit. Their army rule is Doctrina Imperatives. At the start of the battle round, you can choose one of two Doctrina Imperatives, which is active for all units in the army, and those with this ability gain the stuff for each. Protector Imperative gives all ranged weapons in the units that can use this ability the heavy ability, and each time a ranged attack is made against units with this ability that are still in the deployment zone, it worsens the armor penetration by 1. Then there's Conqueror Imperative, which essentially does the same but opposite. Units that can use this ability get assault on their ranged weapons, and if you attack an enemy unit at range, if the enemy unit is in the deployment zone, your weapons gain a 1 armor penetration. In combination, this is worthless, and it's about to get even worse, but let's talk about this with a basic build. First round, everyone is trying to capture points. Nobody on either side should be staying in their deployment zone. The only time this is even remotely usable is if both armies are Adeptus Mechanicus and are focusing on the ability, not on objective control. If you have literally any other army against, or have the goal of capturing objectives like every game of 40k has, this won't be possible to utilize to its maximum. The heavy and assault abilities are fine, but they alone should be a detachment, not the whole fucking army. And I want to point out a phrase I kept spouting when I was talking about this. Units with this ability. That's something we should focus on because, well, a third of the army can't use this ability. The army has 29 different units and 9 of them can't use the ability. Only 1 leader unit can use the ability. Essentially, the only units that can use this shit are Skitarii or controlled by Skitarii. Tech Priests can't use it, Electro Priests can't use it, Robots can't use it. The only character unit that can use it are the Skitarii Marshals. And 3 units in this army are planes, which need to always be moving. So they are getting shit from that Protector Imperative. The only argument I can make as to why this is that Skitarii are designed to be soldiers, but Tech Priests aren't soldiers, but office workers, really. But that doesn't work in a war game. These guys are the line that are soldiers, by their nature. Military priests know how to hold a firearm. Even a MASH unit priest can hold his own in a fight if needed. Father, forgive me for this. Could easily fix this by just giving the damn ability to every single Adeptus unit. Gilliman and L. Johnson can use the Oath a moment. Why can't Belisarius Cawl use it? They're essentially the same given they are added to the army. They need to be the warlord. I can pull a character from nearly all armies in this game. God, please, release me from this suffering. Let's talk about the index detachment, Rad-Cohort. This is one's detachment rule goes in 2 parts. 1 rule, 2 parts. It can be started at the first battle round. At the start of the first battle round, each enemy unit within your opponent's deployment zone, your opponent must decide whether that unit will take cover or stand firm. If a unit takes cover until the end of the battle round, that unit is battle shocked. If a unit stands firm, roll a 1d6 for that unit. On a 3+, that unit rolls d3 for mortal wounds. That sounds good, but then I remember my Chaplain and Terminator armor has a feel no pain against mortal wounds, and most armies have a similar ability. This is only dangerous to standard infantry units. It'll only kill at most one model, and it's a 66% chance to actually do anything. A battle shock isn't that bad on a first round. You aren't likely to use stratagem on the first round, and that's about all it'll stop. After the first round, you'll get the fuck out of the deployment zone because you need to get those objectives. On round 2 and onwards, you'll roll a d6 for each unit still in the deployment zone of your opponent, and each 3+, they'll suffer 1 mortal wound, which doesn't do enough to warrant anything. Anything staying in the deployment zone is an absolute tank, like the Basilisk with its 20-foot gun range. And that tank has 11 wounds. It'll take 7 rounds maybe at max, unless you forget about round numbers. It won't take negative until the last round, maybe. Lord grant me mercy. I'm not done with this. I still got to talk about enhancements and stratagems. Okay, enhancements. Master Annihilator costs 35 points and can be used on all AdMechs. This thing can give the unit that the bearer is attached to the sustained hits 1 ability. Unfortunately, this enhancement is worthless if the bearer isn't attached to a unit. So, if the unit is blasted, they're fucked. Excoriating Emanation is 25 points and is usable by any AdMechs too. It gives the unit attached to this bearer the stealth ability. Not bad, still doesn't work if the unit is killed. This one is fair. I hate enhancements that don't apply to themselves if alone though. Next is Sterilizer at 20 points. Like the two before, usable by all AdMechs. It adds 3 to the bearer's ranged attack characteristic and gives their ranged weapons the anti-infantry 2+ and anti-monster 4+ abilities. Doesn't apply to the attached unit, but still, for certain units, this would be pretty great. Imagine putting this on Call with his Melta guns. Then you've got Archive Purge Protocols at 10 points. This is the only one that can be put on one unit, and it's the Skitarii Marshal. Remember, that one leader that can use the army rule option, that guy. Here's a picture. Essentially, a marshal can pick a friendly unit within a foot of him and say, you're doing the opposite imperative now. Which can't work for some units, so there's a slim chance it's absolutely worthless. Heaven above, please grant me strength. We're so close. Stratagem, 6 of them. Oh god. Baleful Halo can be used when your enemy selects targets to fight on your own guys that aren't vehicles, which most units in the AdMechs are. All it does is allow you to reduce the wound rolls by 1. Very sad, but I can see it being alright, given toughness. Now we've got Extinction Orders, which can be used during the command phase on 1 Tech Priest's model, and 1 objective marker within 2 feet of that model. You roll a d6 for each enemy within range of that objective marker. On a 4+ roll, that unit will suffer 1 mortal wound and must make a battle shock. So absolutely worthless. Maybe 1 wound and maybe can't use a stratagem. Lethal Dosage costs 2 command points and can be used on a unit that hasn't shot yet during the shooting phase. Add 1 to your wound rolls. Congratulations! Doesn't work if you're attacking a vehicle, since that's when you really need to use this stratagem. Aggressor Imperative is used during your charge phase on 1 Skitarii unit that has advanced that turn when the Conqueror Imperative is active. It allows that unit to charge if they've advanced this turn. Fantastic, Lord, my sarcasm is dying. Vengeful Fallout lets you shoot the guy who shot them. This seems to be something most detachments get, and it's pretty good for an army like this. I'll let that be a good thing I've said about this army, but it's a standard thing to get. And Bulwark Imperative can be used on one Skitarii and during the Protector Imperative, after your enemy picks their targets to shoot. Give a 4+ involve and save, which pretty par for the course, but can be useless against some armies. Now, Garlic, you listening? Hey, wake up.
What? Oh, hey Danny. Who are you talking to?
You know what? Shove off.